Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and today I'm talking about why Austria should perhaps win Eurovision 2025. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages, check them out if you so wish. I have made videos similar to this one numerous times on my channel in the past. It should be made clear that they are not predictions, and nor do I necessarily talk about my big personal favourites of an upcoming ESC. This year I'm talking about Austria now. There will be another video regarding another country and why they should perhaps win Eurovision 2025. That will be up on my channel fairly soon, and I may still make a third video about a third different country within the next week or two. But right now the focus is on Austria. Please do respect my opinions, as I will with yours, of course. This country, Austria, they've won twice before, in the mid-60s with Merci Chérie by Udo Jürgens, and of course in 2014 in Copenhagen with Rise Like a Phoenix by Conchita Wurst. This year they are represented by a solo male act, JJ, and the song is called Wasted Love. We are all very familiar with this, of course. JJ, for the record, his real name is Johannes Pietsch, or Peach, not entirely sure how you pronounce it. Johannes, nevertheless. He was born in April 2001. He's from Vienna. He's half Filipino and was brought up a little bit in Dubai. He took part in the 9th series of the UK's version of The Voice, which, fun fact, also included Ireland's 2022 representative, Brooke. He also appeared on the 5th season of Starmania, which is an Austrian sort of talent competition as well. He attends the Music and Arts University of the city of Vienna after visiting the opera school of the Vienna State Opera. This track was released on March the 6th and is co-written with Teodora Špirić, who is Austrian, has tried to represent Serbia before, and was part of the double act representing Austria in Liverpool 2 years ago, and the other writer is Thomas Thurner. As it says in front of me, JJ's musical style combines elements of opera and pop, and I think it's fair to say that although it is fairly accessible stuff, Wasted Love does definitely fit into the category of opera meets pop. Mainly opera for 2/3, and then the ending, which is this rather frantic and hurried finale, you could say, definitely brings in a little bit more of a up-tempo pop feel. Popra stuff is what we have here in general. As a soprano type of countertenor, with a range reaching into high soprano heights, he explores both genres through an intense and expressive vocal and interpretative approach. This song has charted at only number 24 in his homeland. Let's take a look at the lyrics, shall we? Not that the lyrics really matter a great deal at Eurovision, I've always said this, but nevertheless, let's take a look at them. I'm an ocean of love, and you're scared of water. You don't want to go under, so you let me go under. I reach out my hand, but you watch me grow distant, drift out to the sea and far away in an instant. You left me in the deep end, I'm drowning in my feelings, how do you not see that? And then we have the chorus, now that you're gone, all I have is wasted love, this wasted love. Now that you're gone, can't fill my heart with wasted love, this wasted love. So in terms of what it says about the song in front of me, fusing pop and lyrical elements in a crescendo that flows into techno sounds. Yes, it's opera, pop, techno. It's a real mishmash of those genres. The song explores the torment of an unrequited love. The protagonist, overwhelmed by an ocean of love, watches the person he loves move away for fear of being overwhelmed by it. Despite the attempt to cling to the past, he ends up adrift in an emotional abyss, unable to fill the void left by the breakup. Now, anybody who watches my channel regularly knows that I am not a professional journalist, so when I talk about Eurovision songs, my word, do I really repeat myself. And I'm going to do so again here by saying that Wasted Love, there's no doubt about it, is a very dramatic, tender, touching, heartfelt, quite atmospheric, and highly emotional type of song, I would say. Now, let's talk about why this song might not win first. And funnily enough, when I was thinking about filming this video recently, I thought to myself, this reason might be why this song does win. Funnily enough. And it's the voice. JJ's very impressive voice. Now, he's performed this live, and in my opinion, I'm not a professional musician, but in my opinion, he sounded very strong indeed. However, although his voice is quite majestic, and that could be why this song wins, in all honesty. These music professionals, remember 50% of the votes in the final, because he will be in the final quite comfortably, they're probably going to listen to this track and think, whoa, get a load of those vocals, points, points, points. It could be enough to see him win the jury vote at a canter. However, on the flip side of things, first-time listeners listening to this track in May might not be a big fan of what he's doing with his voice. And it could put people off, and therefore the points, points, points won't pour in. And that could mean that Austria don't win, because of that one element of this track, the way it is being delivered. Now, I think he's doing an absolutely tremendous job, but I also very much understand why some first-time listeners, indeed people who've listened to this song plenty of times already, why they might not really like the whole package, because his voice might be a bit too irritating or jarring for some people's tastes. However, there's no denying what he's doing is impressive, and he is one of the strongest vocalists this year. And should he absolutely nail this live in Basel in semi-final 2 and the final, and should it sound really terrific when it's a little bit more polished coming through the television screens as well, then that could be already one hand very close to touching that Eurovision trophy, if you ask me. Why else might this song not win, though? Well, some people might find it boring. Some people might find it really dull. Some people might be waiting for that magic moment. And we do have that magic moment. But it comes right towards the end of the song. And by that point in the track, some people will have lost interest. They'll have already decided they're not voting for this one. They'll appreciate it, but they're not going to vote for it. They're just not really into this whole opera thing. And even when this big blast of techno-opera pop comes in for the last 30-40 seconds or so, that just might not be enough. However, I quite like, this is my personal take on things here, I quite like how that element of the track is not brought in earlier on. Because it really would feel like a song of two halves if that was the case. And if anything, I would personally find it a little bit too unusual. A song that's maybe not entirely sure what it wants to be. Having it right at the end, this real cathartic release, I think it works perfectly well. It doesn't irritate me at all. It gives the song a bit more of a dynamic element, a bit more of an intriguing element. It stops the song from being very sort of one tone almost. And people talk about a selling point, the part of a song that makes it a winner. Now, not every Eurovision winner has had something like this. If you go back to the late 50s and early 60s, I'm not sure the winners we had then had a real wow selling point to them. But this track does, and it is that end segment. And yes, it might come too late for some people, and yes, it might not add anything at all, but to me, if you weren't convinced before, you probably will be convinced when you hear those last 30-40 seconds or so. And obviously it could be elevated a great deal based on the staging. He could be floating in midair. Who knows what's going to happen on stage in Basel a few weeks from now. But if that particular moment is nailed, I think it results in a very satisfying ending to this track. It's going to stick in people's memories. Those music professionals are going to wet themselves with excitement, and first-time listeners might just be convinced in the end that actually this is a very special entry. It's all well and good appreciating something, but it's another thing entirely to appreciate something and say, right, that was so good, I'm actually going to vote for it. You can already tell that I'm rambling massively here and not stringing my thoughts together terribly well. Such is the nature of these videos every year, do bear with me. So, this song might not win because people might not like his voice, but this song might win because people really love his voice. It's quite interesting. I'm not really sure there's another song like that this year, truth be told. This song might also not win because of the last 30-40 seconds or so, and that frantic and I think quite satisfying payoff comes too late. But this song might win because of the last 30-40 seconds or so really convincing people that this is quite a majestic entry indeed. Dear me, dear me. Let's talk about other reasons though why this song might win. Well, this year's lineup, as we are all very much aware, is absolutely full to the brim with up-tempo pop efforts. Very expressive performers, very expressive songs, madness everywhere you damn well look. So, they could all cancel each other out. Which means, hello, something slower. Hello, something a little bit more down-tempo. Hello, Wasted Love by JJ. There is a very strong possibility in the grand final that this song will be sandwiched between two up-tempo tracks. And if you're not really a fan of up-tempo stuff anyway, then you're probably really going to enjoy this track, full stop. But if you're tuning into Eurovision next month, you've no idea what's coming, you've not heard a single second of any of the songs in this year's field, I imagine it would be quite overwhelming actually, a real assault on the senses because of what this year's lineup is like. There's so much going on, and that's the case every year to be fair, but this year you've got Finland delivering something quite visually and sonically arresting. You've got Cyprus who've got big plans for the staging. You've got the pop from Norway, the bizarre yet extreme catchiness of Sweden's track. You've got the two guys from Iceland bopping about. They might be in the final. You've got so many other big up-tempo songs. And if they do end up cancelling each other out, because not all of them can get lots of love, then there is room for a ballad to do the business this year. And Wasted Love, there is no doubt about it, is a strong, well put together, well sung ballad. And if we are going to have a ballad win this year, and yes, there's France as well, more on them another time, Austria probably will have it in the bag. It's entirely possible. We have to think about how this is going to feel like, and I'm excluding the end of the track here, but for a lot of people, this is going to feel like such a breather. And so impressive vocally, and indeed how it builds. And the staging is going to play a huge part here. But if they nail the staging, I really think this could be hard to stop. we've got to look at the context of this year's contest as well. Who are the other favourites? Well, I've already spoken about them in a previous video on my channel, which you may well have seen. It's up if you haven't seen it. I'd much appreciate it if you gave it a watch, where I spoke about 6 countries, I think it was, who could win this year's competition. You've got Austria. The other major ballad is France, who could do it. I mean, that song's even more simplistic than this one. And then you've got Sweden, which couldn't really be further away from what Austria are bringing to the table this year. There's a jury vote, there's a public vote. If you are a music professional, you're not going to look at Barra Barabastu and say, holy smokes, that's crap. You're just not going to do that. If you're doing your job properly, you are not going to look at what Kai are doing for Sweden and saying to yourself, that ain't getting any points, that's rock bottom of my ranking, it's pants. There's a lot to appreciate there. But some music professionals might look at it and think, it's just too silly. We want something that's got a little bit more fullness to it. Something that's a little bit more on the serious side. And if that means something that sounds safer, so be it. And that's where they might look at Austria's track and think, well, look at this staging. Get a load of those vocals. Oh, look at the way it builds up. Oh, what a satisfying payoff. Oh, this is just so impressive from start to finish. I'm really captivated by this. This is where a lot of my points are going to go. That's entirely possible. We saw Switzerland win the jury vote last year very comfortably. Now, admittedly, that song, like Wasted Love, was melding genres, even more so with regards to the code. But in terms of the vocals and the drama of it all and the way it built up, it felt like a bit of a safer option, actually, at least to me. And I wasn't really surprised Nemo won the jury vote last year very comfortably. And I'm looking at Wasted Love, and I'm thinking, well, the same thing could really happen again here. It really could happen again. This stuff about the juries not voting for the same stuff as they have done the year previous, I just don't think that's the case at all. I don't think they're thinking... First of all, it's different jury members every year. But they're not thinking about what's gone before. They're just thinking about what's in front of them on the night. And although there are slight similarities between the code and Wasted Love, if the code won the jury vote by a mile, Wasted Love could absolutely do it. And I think the general feeling amongst most Eurovision fans is that even if you're not a fan of this track, none of us would be shocked if this was the jury winner by a comfortable margin. Now, as for the public, well, they're probably, I would say almost certainly, going to be drawn to the more lively, expressive, fun, perhaps somewhat silly entries. They're just going to be drawn towards those, more likely in my opinion. However, Wasted Love is not going to be shafted. I've seen a few comments online, not that I've been trawling through them a lot over the past couple of weeks, but I've seen a few comments online from people saying there is no way Wasted Love is going to get a huge amount of love in the public half of the results. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, that might happen, but I don't expect it to. This is going to be up there. This is surely going to get maybe 200 points, at least, in the public half of the results. And if the juries do go big for this, and they haven't always gone big for classical type vocals, Estonia in 2018 they didn't love, and Il Volo in 2015 they didn't love, and that was the reason why Italy didn't win in the end. Big controversy there. But if this year they are in the mood for something that's a little bit more opera in style, then that could be 320 points. Add another 200 on top. That's 520 points. That really could be enough to win, because all of the other up-tempo tracks potentially could cancel each other out in the results. Not just with the juries, but with the public as well. And there is the path to glory for a song like Wasted Love. My word, I'm really rambling big time, so I think I'm going to wrap this up in a few moments' time. For me, I just was really captivated by this. From the first time I heard it, I thought it was so impressive. Watching the music video, it felt so polished, it felt so complete. You do get Eurovision songs every year that feel half-baked. They feel as though they're not quite complete. They feel as though they've been rushed somehow. They feel not quite polished enough. Whereas this track, it feels as though so much care and attention went into the production, and I was really, really quite blown away, truth be told. And I've listened to it quite a few times now, and I listened to it again a short time ago in preparation to film this video you're watching now. And I love the beauty of it, the haunting nature of it, and I haven't even really spoken about another potential winning element of this track. There I was earlier on, talking about the ending in particular, how we go from, this very meandering but very beautiful melody, and then it's right towards the end. Well, people might listen to this, and within 20 seconds or so, they'll be thinking to themselves, oh, okay, here we've got a guy with a high-pitched voice and a bit of a smoke machine, potentially. Yeah, we've heard this all before. But then in the chorus, when it becomes more operatic in style in terms of the vocal delivery, people might go, whoa, didn't expect that, hello. Now I'm a little bit more invested. I'm actually going to stick with this one because I wasn't expecting that to come my way. Do you see what I mean? I absolutely think, as a ballad, this is standing out. I think the general feeling towards this song is very positive. It happens every year, though. It happens every damn year, where the favourites start to get a little bit of a backlash, and I don't know whether that's because some Eurovision fans are threatened, because this song is seen as a bigger contender than one of their personal favourites, so I must bash this clear contender to win. I don't know if that's the case or not, if people feel genuinely threatened by another track, or whether it's just what Eurovision fans do. They like to bring down one of the favourites and rattle off loads of reasons as to why it can't possibly win. But this is absolutely a contender to win. If Sweden do not get as high a public mark as we currently expect, and do not get as much jury love as perhaps we expect, if France flops a little bit, and then you've got like Israel and Finland and Czechia up there, if they don't quite deliver the goods for whatever reason, this is going to be our winner. And it's going to be Vienna 2026. Almost certainly. If indeed they come out on top. Vienna 2026. I think JJ has a smashing voice, but it's not all about the voice, really. Yes, that is a big, notable selling point of this song. But just the way it's constructed and the way it builds and the huge potential for staging here, really, it's going to tick so many of the right boxes. Maybe it is trying a bit too hard for that jury love. But I don't think people write songs for Eurovision and think about a particular demographic or things like that. I can understand individuals who think this might be trying a bit too hard to win the jury vote. It doesn't really feel too much that way for me, truth be told. If Austria do win, I'm hoping it's because both the juries and the public like it in equal measure. It would be perhaps a bit annoying if we have a very clear jury favourite again, and then this song, if it wins the jury vote, finishes 6th or 7th with the public, but because the jury mark was so high, the song wins overall. That would be maybe a little bit of a shame, because it feels like a bit of a lopsided victory once again. We saw it to some extent with Switzerland a year ago. So I'm hoping this song does a France 2021. I didn't expect Voila by Barbara Pravi to get quite as much love as it did from the public. And obviously that song didn't win, but the juries really liked it and the public really liked it. And last year, Mon Amour for France had a really big, impressive, in my opinion, public mark. So there is space for ballads to absolutely get a lot of points from all corners every year at Eurovision. If you have a well put together, slow ballad type effort, it doesn't matter what year it is, you can get the love from the public and indeed the juries. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this video up now because I'm just going to repeat myself numerous times. It feels like a winner, which I know is such a strange thing to say because Eurovision can be incredibly unpredictable and there's no specific formula for what makes a winner. Yes, some people who remember the code very well might look at this song and think, well, do we really want something a little bit similar coming out on top again? But ultimately, it is one of the best songs this year. It's one of the most impressive songs this year. Vocally, it's absolutely one of the best this year. And if the staging is bang on the money, this really could be very hard to stop. And I'm going to leave it there because clearly I've run out of steam. That's it. Let me know what you think in general about the Austrian track. Do you like it? If so, why? Do you see this as a winner? If so, why? Do you not like this song? If so, why? Is it because you don't really listen to classical opera type stuff in your own time? Is it because you don't like his voice, even though it's clearly very impressive? I'm interested to know. Like I said at the start, please respect my opinions as I will with yours. And I think, just touching on the vocals again, what's great about Eurovision is that everything is welcome. You know, every vocal style, every genre is welcome. And even if it's not your cup of tea, most Eurovision fans, I would say over 90% of them absolutely, will appreciate what you're trying to do. Even if you don't love it, you can say to yourself, I appreciate what you're doing, it's not quite for me, but fair play, it's nice to have a bit of a different flavour in this year's lineup. And maybe if you don't like this track, maybe that's your feeling. You appreciate it, it's just not quite your thing. Will this win the jury vote by a mile? Maybe, maybe not. Would it surprise you if this song does not win the jury vote? And how well will JJ fare with the public? Because I've already said, 200 points minimum. I would be relatively surprised if it was less than that. But you never know. How many points did Nemo get with the public last year? I said I was going to wrap this video up, but now I'm off on one again. Let me take a look. Nemo, 226. Yeah. And, I mean, an absolutely crushing win in the jury half of the points. And then let me just take a look at La Forza for Estonia in 2018. So that got 143 points from the juries and 102 from the public, finishing 8th overall. I see. And that was definitely a little bit more straight up classical, I would say. And maybe didn't have as big a winning type moment. I don't know. Anyway, that really is it. I'll be back talking about another country, and I might repeat myself many times in that video too, but that video, similar to this one, will surface on my channel fairly soon. Apologies for waffling on. I really should structure these particular videos a bit better. But anyway, that's why Austria should perhaps win. Eurovision 2025. And I just want to make it clear, this is never me saying, yes, they should win, absolutely, god damn it. No, it is more me saying, here's this song, here's why it should be right up there challenging for the win, and also why none of us should be surprised if it does end up being, in this instance, Vienna 2026, or Innsbruck, or Graz. I'm not picky. Let me know what you think. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.